We're here and looking forward at 2026 here. I'm looking specifically at trends that I'm spotting and want to track for this whole coming year. I wanted to just let you into a little bit of the thought process of Nick here and what does it mean for real estate, right? So whether you're moving this year or not, what's happening in the housing market is going to affect you one way or the other. Before you make any real estate decisions in 2026, I want you to know the trends and see the things that I'm tracking that are going to impact all of our decisions this year, right? And moving forward. So just last week, I was actually talking with a couple who had been in their home for a few years, right? Their family is growing, they have some equity that's accumulated, and they're starting to wonder if it's time to upgrade. Should they refinance and do some remodeling and just stay put? So watching kind of national news was confusing to them, thinking, oh my gosh, some things say prices are coming down, other experts are claiming that rates are skyrocketing, and just all the noise out there really was confusing for them. Mixed messages left them stuck. So the good news here is that in 2026, I really think the housing market is finally going to be giving people some clearer signals as we get into the year and look forward. For example, Realtor.com expects the homes for sale, available homes, choices buyers are going to have this year is going to go up. Realtor.com says nearly 9% more homes are going to be available this year than last year, which means buyers are going to have more options. Fewer surprises out there for both buyers and sellers when you have more options. Once you understand what's actually happening in the market, available homes, what interest rates are doing, condition of properties, and what maintenance stuff something might actually need, it's going to become easier to make better decisions. And here's what you need to know, right? Here's a handful of things. I'm thinking key point number one to keep in mind, and we're going to track rates are easing. But what does that mean? There are several different sources out there looking at anywhere in the low sixes to kind of mid to upper fives by the end of the year where rates might land, right? So if I'm looking at one, bank rate said 6.1% is probably the high by the end of the year as a low of 5.7%. Okay, high fives, low sixes. Realtor.com says maybe low sixes, hovering near 6.3%. Fannie Mae, however, projects that by the end of 2026, we should be around 5.9%, and Morgan Stanley says somewhere between 5 to 5.75. Okay, let's cut through all the noise, right? Somewhere in the high fives, low sixes are probably where rates are going to be. What does that do for us? If I'm thinking and working with a client about should I sell and should I buy something, we want to know what our new payment might be. We want to know how much equity we might have from a house we're exiting to be able to put down, and what does that next payment look like? Versus if we don't have to move, it'd just be a nice to have, what if we just remodeled what we're living in right now? Had a client literally yesterday that another husband and wife, they don't want to move for another 5 years or so, and they said, hey, what are the ways that we can actually do some remodels and work around the house and tap into our equity? So we kind of created a game plan in order of this is the most important renovation, this is the second most, this is the third. Created a schedule. And then we said, hey, let's go to one of our trusted lender partners. Let's figure out, what are the loan options? Should we refinance and take cash out? Should we do a home equity line of credit? Should we do some combination of the both? Or are there other options out there? We created a game plan. Let's talk with their lender. And then from there, we're going to figure out which contractors they need, and we're going to help set everything up so they have a clear path forward. They're not looking to sell right now, but they want to make sure the updates they're putting in are going to help resale value. Okay, so wrapping up, key trend number one I want to be looking at is let's be tracking and talking about interest rates this year. It directly impacts your affordability and hot button right now for both buyers and sellers. Key trend number two I want to track is the available number of homes. The inventory, we're expecting it to grow. We're expecting buyers are going to have more options. We're also going to expect sellers are going to have some more competition this year. Yeah, Realtor.com says we're going to see 9% more homes over time. In specifically Bellingham, Whatcom County, what I see every year, January, we have the fewest amount of homes on the market. September, August time, we have the most amount of homes. So we see the cyclical nature. After September, it starts to go back down until we get to January. It'll be interesting to see as we go through the year, are we seeing any months having a really big jump? Are we seeing any months having not so much of a jump? And just what that's doing. Beginning part of the year, January, and as we get to August, September, fewer choices for buyers, fewer competition for sellers. As we get into that September, August timeline we're gonna have the most amount of choices for buyers and more competition for sellers. So that's the balancing act we play up here in Bellingham and Whatcom County, and that's every year. Key trend number three to watch. Move-in homes are most competitive in this market, right? So turnkey is something that buyer doesn't have to do any remodels, any work to it. Buyers buy with their eyes. And if you're leaving, carpets to be replaced, roof to be repaired, other major mechanical things at end of its useful life, that's less desirable than a home home, everything is done, a buyer gets to move in. So in terms of turnkey, most move-in ready homes being most competitive, I am seeing, and we got to track this, home purchase contracts and agreements that come together and then fall apart. We are seeing one of the highest amount of home buyers backing out of contracts for various reasons. As an example, I just had first-time home buyers that made an offer for a property I'm representing the seller on. We got through inspections, and at the tail end of it, they said, hey, everything looks good. It was supposed to be a pass-fail inspection. They came back and said, hey, we actually found this surprise we weren't anticipating. We actually want to renegotiate. As it turned out, my seller agreed. They said, hey, we're going to do this with one tiny little adjustment. It was contractual at most. They needed an initial. Buyers ended up getting cold feet after they made their counter, and the deal fell apart. So right now, the current stats are about 1 in 5 homes that go under contract, or actually the sale's going to fall apart for various reasons, whether it's inspection, whether it's financing, whether it's some other condition-related thing. So trend to watch, guys. The more you can get your home ready and prep it so buyers have less to think about or do after they close is going to be a more successful or likelihood that sale closes. Key point or trend number 4 to be looking at is AI. I shot a video a while back. You can take a look on the channel, probably a blog. But AI in real estate. AI is becoming just a major part of just in everyday life, and also in real estate. According to the National Association of Realtors, their technology survey, over a third of all realtors use some form of AI tools, and it's helping everyone move faster and make more informed decisions. But let's break that down. I take everything with a grain of salt. These AI systems, they can hallucinate, they can make things up, and how do we know that it's actually real information or where the data is coming from? We gotta think and use our heads a little bit. AI is gonna give us data. It's gonna help us condense the time to analyze that data. And just like you guys and myself using Amazon, it's giving these recommended things that we need to buy, or you use the social media that it's giving you recommended reels or stuff to watch. For buyers, I think in real estate, it means better home matches, right? The different sites are gonna be able to say, hey, based on your search criteria and your preferences, here might be some other homes that you might find interesting. So it's gonna condense the search time. For sellers, I think it helps with smarter pricing. What are the trends? What are the, what are the market implications of, at this price point, how long are properties sitting on the market? At this price point, how long is it taking to get that offer? In any market, how many homes are actually falling out of contract? I think for sellers, it makes smarter pricing decisions. I think for homeowners, it's clearer planning. I think the biggest takeaway and what I'm watching is I don't think AI is replacing real estate expertise. That tribal knowledge of just what buyers are asking for, what the reality is of what a home's gonna need. AI is supporting the whole process. In 2026, I think the best decision comes from combining insights and the condensed analysis that we can get benefits from AI with trusted human insight and judgment. So let's wrap this all up, right? In 2026, I think there's some interesting trends that we want to watch. I think the housing market will become clearer, calmer. It's going to be more predictable than it has been in years past. But what's happening nationally, it doesn't reflect what necessarily is going on here in Bellingham and the surrounding areas, right? If you are sitting there thinking about what your next move looks like and want a personalized breakdown and strategizing what your game plan is, let's talk. Reach out. Whether it's in Bellingham, the surrounding areas, Whatcom County, Skagit County, whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or just planning for what's ahead. Let's talk. Feel free to reach out. We'll schedule a one-on-one strategy call, and we'll keep it simple, have helpful conversations to make you feel confident about what the next steps are. If you've appreciated this, please like and subscribe for more great real estate content. Love to be your real estate resource of choice. Share this with somebody thinking about making a move that also could use the help.